Many thanks for joining us again. We begin in Nigeria, Katsina State, where the governor, Aminu Bello Masari, says a total of 333 students of Government Science Secondary School in Kankara local government area are still missing after the attack by bandits. Governor Masari gave the figures during the Minister of Defense visit to the state alongside the country's service chiefs. And according to the governor, the school's total student population is 839. He says no contact has been made by the kidnappers for ransom or any other demand. The Minister of Defense, on his part, Bashir Magashi, says after being briefed by security operatives who are on ground in the state, the task of rescuing the students is simple, considering the intelligence they have gathered relating to the whereabouts of the abducted students. The Minister of Defense added that within the next few hours, the kidnapped student will be rescued without collateral damage.
839, and so far we are yet to account for 333 pupils, and we are still counting because more are coming out of the forest, and we are calling through the numbers, those parents that have numbers, to find out whether their children have gone back home, because we have discovered so many local governments, the children have gone back. But based on the record that we have, we are still searching for 333 children, searching through the forest and searching through their parents in order to ascertain the actual number that have been kidnapped. We as a government were yet to be contacted by any group or person, those who have kidnapped the children.
We are doing this on the belief that if these kind of people are allowed to rest for a moment, we are also equally condoning this kind of activities. And the conclusion within most of the security agents is that it's high time we declared this kind of people terrorists. And if we do that, probably people will now sit up, because once you are a terror, you don't have any right of your life. But so far, we have been briefed by the people on the ground, the Commissioner of Police, the GOC here, the Brigade Commander, the Air Officer Commanding, and the DSS, and other security officers. Our interest is to review or abreast ourselves with what actually happened 2 days ago. And we believe with their briefing, this task is going to be very simple for us, because, inshallah, within the next few hours, we'll ensure these people are back. We have strategized, and I believe we can do it without any collateral damage to the people of Katsina State. We'll go the whole hog. We have the intelligence, the information, where they're about, their movements, and their method of operation. And we find that this task will be very easy for the armed forces and the police.
Meanwhile, some parents whose children are still in the hands of kidnappers have staged a peaceful protest calling for the immediate rescue of the students that were kidnapped on Friday night at the Government Science Secondary School Kankara in Katsina State. One of the parents who came to Kankara from Kaduna says she was informed about the unfortunate incident around 5 a.m. on Saturday. Hence, she arrived at the school premises around 11 a.m., but only to find out that her son is amongst those who are still missing. She's expressing the fear of the possibility of the kidnapped children to be inducted into banditry.
And the coalition of northern groups says it is disappointed that President Muhammadu Buhari has yet to visit Government Science Secondary School Kankara, where many students were abducted over the weekend by suspected bandits. According to the group, The deafening silence in the state to people suffering is the height of insensitivity on the part of political leaders. The group says although there is relative improvement in the security situation of Katsina state, the activities of bandits, kidnappers and cattle rustlers is still a major threat to sustainable development. It added that failure on the part of government to rescue the missing students within the shortest possible time will leave it with no option than to mobilize hundreds of thousands on the streets of Katsina state for a continuous protest until the students are fully rescued.
While condemning in totality this barbaric act and call for the immediate arrest and prosecution of the culprits, we equally stress the inability of the government to protect those young, innocent, vibrant students from this horrible attack as uncalled for. 2. Failure of the government to rescue the missing student within a shortest period of time. CNG will not hesitate to mobilize hundreds of thousands on the street of Katsina state for a continuous protest until the students are fully rescued. This will happen even if it is going to cost our lives. We equally condemned in strongest terms the inability of the president to visit the scene despite being him in the state. 6. While rumors goes around that over 400 students are missing, we call on the state government to immediately clarify the matter so as to ascertain the exact number of missing students. We are not wrong by saying that President Buhari-led administration has failed in discharging its primary responsibility of protecting lives and properties of people. Yet, while we commend the effort of good Samaritans in the local government, we equally call for collaborative effort between the security agencies and local intelligence with all sincerity of purpose so as to defeat the menace.
Okay, let's cross live now to Kankara in Katsina State, where our correspondent Amaka Okoye joins us now. Amaka, can you help us understand what the status is on the ground where you are?
All right, thank you very much, Akane and Adesua. We are actually in Kankara Secondary School, where the students were kidnapped. And like you said, the mood here, as you would expect, is of people who are really waiting anxiously for their children to come back. We got into the school like 30 minutes ago, and we've been able to establish some contact. But what you do expect is that the school is shut down following the governor's instruction that all secondary schools in the state, all schools actually in the state be shut down. So Kankara Secondary School as well is also shut down. So we can't find any student. The classes are shut. We have a few people who are working in the school. We made attempts to speak to the principal. We've not been able to speak to the principal. The principal is around and a few staff members, but we've not been able to have any conversation with them. And so we don't have any word as far as the school authority is concerned. What we do have are parents. We have over 30 people actually standing here, men, parents, siblings, waiting for their loved ones, the students to come back or to get any word at all from authorities. And I'm sure one of them here is happy to speak to us. And so we'll just cross over now to him.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us on Arise. Please tell us why you're here.
I was here for the purpose of two of my students. My children are being kidnapped here. That is the main reason why I'm here. I left where I'm residing in Zaria. I have to spend 2 days here. I am still waiting for the arrival of my kid. So I will leave this area until when my people are being brought back here.
Since you've been here since Saturday, I believe. So what have you heard? Have you been able to hear anything from this principal or from any authority? What word have they given you so far?
Actually, we used to follow update on some of the media, like Voice of America, BBC Hausa. But to my surprise, I have not seen a reason why Garba Shehu, for God's sake, presidential spokesman, said that only 10 people left. And to my surprise again, Governor Masari yesterday said that there are about 333. Let me make a reference of yesterday BBC Hausa report that was yesterday night. So I don't know how Garba Shehu will come and arrive and say that only 10 people left. If you can count all of us here, we are more than 10. Unlike me now, I have 2 of my children. Is it fair? It's not fair, actually.
Thank you very much. We also have another gentleman who wants to speak, please, who wants to share his own experience of being here.
Yeah. Sunana Aminu Bello. My name is Aminu Bello. Yeah. They carry my junior brother from this school. His name is Aliu.
In this experience, how did you get information? Because so far no information has gotten out. Who have you been talking to?
I'm not talking to anybody up to now. I just follow just media as how this medicine. I just follow this media as how my colleague talks. So these things, I can't compare what I hear, what I feeling from my mind. Because this is suffer me well. I there where I'm working, where I'm getting my daily break, the things come happen to me. They told me I love these people. They can't carry my brother from this school. I'm the one who is taking responsibility of the school of this boy. But I there where I'm getting my daily break and the school fees of this boy. All these things I don't spend time to. I just stop able to come to this place, waiting where I see my brother, because we don't have a father. My father is died. So all this thing, I beg. I am calling this government, Katsina State government, and the federal government of Nigeria. If they not feel collect these boys, I beg, may they allow us. These boys call one or everybody call him parent. Make they talk. Whether not something they want to collect, so we pay say everything to give them to collect our boys. Because we know say if we do this thing for them, they know the world gonna say, the nationwide gonna say them they don't lost their destiny. They know to do what they're supposed to do to protect life and properties of citizens. That is all.
Thank you very much. I mean, you can hear it also, Ekene and Adeswa, firsthand from these family members. What we do know, even when we arrived here, we were told that 3 people have escaped, and so we are in touch with one family, which immediately we finish with you. We're going to follow up on that story, but we've not been able to leave the school. From this place, from the school authority, we don't have any word. We are just waiting, just as the parents are also anxiously waiting to see what will happen. And if I may just follow on what the young man said about protecting themselves. On our way here, we also met the local vigilantes who spoke to us. And one of the things they said is, express the same frustration that they feel they are not being protected. And so they are vowed, in fact, to take care of their people and to secure their lives, whatever that is going to take, and that they are going to do that. So from Kankara, we are staying here and waiting and see if there are other developments. But so far, this is all that we do know as far as this kidnap incident is concerned.
Amaka, it is just heartbreaking to hear that these relatives, these parents are relying on the media for any form of information on this kidnap of their loved ones. It is heartbreaking to hear. But this is not the first time an incident such as this is happening. You recall the Chibok girls, the Dapchi girls. But do we know who is behind this particular kidnap? Some authorities in the country do say alleged bandits, but do we know who is responsible for this?
All right, that's a very crucial question that you've asked, because when you look at foreign media, what they say is unknown gunmen, and then our own local media, some people have said alleged banditry. Before coming here, I spoke earlier with a security expert, and he said that it is hard to say who are those responsible for the fact that no one also has claimed responsibility. But you recall that before this kidnap incident happened, there have been issues of banditry here in Kankara, which is making the people on ground saying that they believe that this is bandits' attack. But again, if we go back to what the defense minister said, you heard him mention that they understand banditry activities and they know that this is the same operation, and more likely it is the banditry attack, but no one has claimed responsibility, and so we cannot for sure say we know independently that this is bandits or unknown gunmen. What we say, just like every other person, is unknown gunmen, unless the school come out to say we know these people and this is the name we call them by. We will still rely on what the people and what we've heard so far.
Amaka, just echoing what the previous, do you say brother or guardian said? He, because what it points to is that we're looking for the motive. So even though if they say it's bandits, what would be the motive? Because the guardian who spoke to you last seemed to be saying, what is it that they want? Let us give it to them so we can recover our loved ones. So do you have any information as towards motive? Why would they take these young men from their schools?
Yeah, okay, thank you for that question. Again, it shows the level of frustration, and how desperate these people are to find answers, to get their own. We do not know what the motives are, because as you do know, there's no one has claimed responsibility and no one has asked for anything in terms of ransom, so it is unclear what the reasons are for this incident. I mean, some expert again has said, when I talked to an expert this morning, that if you see the way this is done, it is coming to a boys' school, and it reminds you of how during when Boko Haram started off in the early days, they used to go to boys' school, and the whole conversation was around forceful conscription. But we cannot say that is what this is. We do know certainly that this is a boys' school, and over time, we've seen mostly girls' school, them attacking, terrorists or bandits attacking girls' school. But this new strategy, not necessarily a new strategy, but a strategy that has been there, they started off with, we are seeing it again. So we cannot again say what the motives are. It is quite unclear. We can't for sure say we know why. But again, if we fall back to what experts have said, that this looks like, the intent looks like, we're not sure, looks like forceful conscription. If you get these boys and then bring them to be in their camp and train them to do the sort of things that we've seen them do. But again, as I say, we do not know what their motives are.
Thank you very much, Amaka.
And we do have a student actually here.
Okay,
if you allow me.
Go ahead.
If you do allow me, we have one of the students actually here. And we'll be, please, can you come forward here? So he is one of the students who escaped. He's speaking to Arise News exclusively. He's not had this conversation with anyone. As you do know, we are the first people to be here. So tell us your experience. Good afternoon. I'd hold it for you.
My name is Shamsu Buhari. Suna muna nan cikin makaranta wajen karfe 10. Wajen karfe 9 muna cikin aji 9:30 tana yi aka sake mu muka tai house. Muna zuwa house mun dauko kamun muna wanki. To muna cikin yin wankin kenan na gama na tai house zan yi shanya mu ci abinci. To mun je muna cin abincin kenan sai muka ji halbin bindiga. Mun zata yan patrol ne da yake suna halbin bindiga su ɗaya su biyu har zuwa su uku. Sai muka ji halbin nan ya wuce dai. Mun yi hito waje kenan sai aka ce mu koma house a rihe mu. Za mu zanna dai nan. Muka koma mun zazzanna kenan sai muka ji halbin nan ya wuce inda ba tunani. Sai aka ce mu hito mata. To dama akwai wasu ƙohi da ake bari can. To mun je wajen su yi muka ga kulle suke. In mutum bai da tsawo bayan da zai hau katanga. In kana da tsawo in kawo sai ka tsere. To mun hau mun tsere kenan muna cikin tafiya.
Okay. All right. Essentially, he is trying to explain what happened on that night. They were in the cafeteria, if you like, or the refectory when they heard sounds that looked like gunshots. And then before they knew it, they saw vehicles coming and some people had to start running and jump off the fence, Katanga. So if you're able to jump off the fence, you jump off. If you're not able to jump off the fence, then it means that you stay back. And so most of those who would have been taken away, of course, were not able to run away. But thankfully, he's here. If you give me one more second to ask him how he escaped, because we don't know. Yakazonang, miyo paru, why yakawo kanang?
Na, sai da na gudu. Mu muka zo da kanmu. Yan sanda ne suka ce mu dawo cikin makaranta da safe. Suka ce mu dawo cikin makaranta mu shigo mu kwashe kanmu.
All right, essentially he's saying that they escaped on their own, they ran by themselves, and the police people helped them and brought them back. But it's just him escaping, himself and the other two, I believe, escaping, and then the police brought them safely now to school.
Asking, because I suspect you may not be able to answer this, but I will still put it out there. You do appreciate that the distress being caused these parents and the nation at large is the misinformation, not being able to match up. The previous parent who said, you know, he's hearing some figures being released that only 10 people are missing, and he's wondering how they arrived at that figure. Are you able to, in any way, monitor the activities of the government so that you can somehow tally the figures for us so that we have more of a reconciliation of what they're saying and what is actually on the ground?
Yeah, I mean, we are also in conversation with some government officials. Hopefully, we will be able to speak to them to ask, you know, these pertinent questions that you're raising. But now we've not been able to establish contact with any of them. We are hoping that as soon as I finish this live with you, that we'll follow up on them and get any, you know, this information, because they are the one that need to clarify this. We can't be banking on what, you know, we hear 10 persons, whereas we know they say 333 persons. And so we are waiting also. We want to have that conversation with government officials tonight, and then we'll be able to give you the accurate position.
Indeed, and I was just going to, you know, ask you to see if you could get such information from the brave student who was able to escape, to find out, you know, how many others of his colleagues were there when he was escaping, how they were transported, and some of those details. But I see that he's gone. Thank you so much, Amaka.
Yes,
can you still ask him? I'm being told you have him around. If you can still get him back on air to just ask this details that a lot of us really need to hear.
There's another media house that is just
okay, that's fine. That's
speaking
fine
with him. But we'll still follow the story. We'll be on top of the story, and if anything, we will bring you up to speed, because I'm sure that more details will emerge. Remember that we've not been able to speak to the principal.
Yes.
We hope that they have some information that we don't have, and we're still here, and we're still speaking to parents. We'll live here and speak to some parents, and also speak to government officials. There will be more information as the day, you know, go by, and we'll bring you up to speed with whatever the latest information or situation is.
Great work, fantastic reporting, Amaka Okoye. Thank you so much for being our eyes on the ground there in Katsina State. Stay safe. And News Day returns in just a moment. Join us again.